the concept of the attitude of gratitude made me think back to when I was in grade 7 or 8, and I had an uncle who would come and visit us and stay for the Christmas holidays, and he'd come in the summer as well for a week or two. And he was a great uncle. He was a bachelor and really enjoyed spending time with us as kids. And he taught us this thing called meditation. So I'm going back quite a few years now when we were taught this, and hypnosis. And he taught us how to deep breathe, and basically it was a progressive relaxation to get you into a state of hypnosis where you take a breath in and you tense a muscle group, so you tense your feet and your ankles up, and then when you breathe out you relax it. And then you do the same thing with the breath in for your calf muscles, and you tense them and breathe out and relax it. You go through your whole body just releasing the tension, and that takes you to a calm, happy place. His words were happy and calm, at peace. And when you're at that state, then your mind was in absolute open state, and that's where it was open to suggestions from hypnosis types of things. So it was kind of out there. It was, it was kind of fun to do. What I ended up doing, I didn't get into university out of high school, even though I've retired as a high school vice principal. I didn't have the marks. I never developed study habits. I played lots of sports. I had a job. I had a little brother when I turned 18 from Big Brothers Association, but school and studying was never something for me. Just didn't really have the habit. And when I worked full time for a couple of years in a factory and hanging turkeys live all day, or cutting up Kentucky Fried Chicken, or shoveling ice to go onto the trucks, it motivated me to look into something different, because I didn't want to spend my whole career there. I did have appreciation for all the people I worked with that do those jobs day in, day out, because we all need food, and there's some pretty physically taxing jobs. But I applied to go to university and got in as an adult student. Had to do some courses online. Or no, there was no online. Correspondence. They actually sent me. I had to do chemistry, grade 12 or 13 chemistry. They actually sent me the Bunsen burner and chemicals and stuff. I remember doing it down in the basement in the crawl space at home. But so I did the courses, and I got accepted as an adult student because I had worked full time, and that allowed me to get into kinesiology, to eventually become a teacher. And I wanted to teach phys ed and math, and this computer science stuff was starting to be important too back then in the 80s. So I started to apply some of the stuff my uncle had taught me as a kid about relaxing before exams. I didn't know at the time that I was living with anxiety and not able to sleep or stay asleep, and I was having trouble with memory, with so many things we were learning, and reading a textbook. Read these 40 pages by next class, and have a good understanding what's going on. And I'd read one page, be sound asleep, and wake up on the same page and read that one like 30 times. But eventually I started a pattern when I would study, and I'd make cheat sheets, whether I was allowed to take them in or not. And that I look at that, and that's so powerful to learn. I learned that in Psych 101. Make a cheat sheet, and that establishes connections for your brain of all the various things that were on there. And whatever you put on the cheat sheet is just the stuff you don't remember. Gets put in there, and all the various colors, and up the side of the sheet in the back. And then you have that sheet that's organized it for your brain, and any questions you have from that cheat sheet are the ones you just have to keep reviewing until you have the concept. And so I did that. And the second thing I did was, when I went to bed at night, I told my brain, and this is pretty out there, Kev. I told my brain to review while I was asleep at night all the things I had taught I was taught and I had learned, and to anticipate any questions the prof would put on the exam. Try to think like a prof, what would be on the exam. Almost like you could read the prof's mind. What would be on that exam? And then in the morning before the exam, if there's anything that I hadn't studied, I told my mind to tell me what that would be, and then I would review that. Well, my marks in high school were 70s, 60s in some subjects, some 80s. My marks in kinesiology and math and computer science jumped up to the 90-95% level in all my courses. And I actually graduated from the University of Waterloo at the top of my faculty, which is HKLS back then, Human Kinetics and Leisure Studies, and graduated with a 90 plus average, and they gave me an alumni gold medal award to recognize that, and some scholarships through the years. And that was all from the guy who didn't get into high school and didn't like to study, and I can't help but think about that connection of telling my brain at night to go into review mode in a positive mode instead of worrying about the exams, which I was going to do, and while I slept to review, and in the morning to go over things that I needed to go over. So the power of the brain's, it's pretty amazing. It may just be, that's all that psychobabble stuff that I keep fighting in my head with, and I probably shouldn't use those words. But I believe what the mind focuses on grows. So if we focus on being better at chess, we become a better chess player. If we focus on basketball skills, we become a better basketball player. If we focus on math, we become better at math. And if you focus on worry and stress and drama all day, you become better at worry and stress and drama all day. And that's what I was seeing in my office as a vice principal with kids day in, day out, was they spent most of their time in the drama zone, as we called it, worrying about things and talking about those things with their friends and sharing them. And what was happening is it grows and spreads like a weed, a virus across people, and everyone's now experiencing this angst of one person's stresses becomes everyone's stresses. And so scientifically, what you focus on grows is called neurons that fire together, wire together. So in our brain, when we fire the neurons together that say 9 times 8 is 72, that's wired in there. And I before E except after C is wired in there, plus exceptions like neighbor and way and weird and O'Reilly, because it doesn't follow the rules. That's wired in there, and your anniversary is wired there. And so neurons that fire together, wire together. So people that are practicing anxiety and depression and stress and worry all day, that's what they're getting. So when we switch over to the attitude of gratitude and retrain our brain to think positive things and deep breathing, or there's other ways we can do it. We can go for a walk in nature, have a good friend to talk to. So the ways to learn to flow, the attitude of gratitude is all about flowing, there's so many ways to do it that it's really kind of cool. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So let's practice rewiring our brain and keep practicing. I think the best one out there is the attitude of gratitude. At least it's the best one for me. So some pretty cool friends in my life. Life's amazing. That's all for now.